If you are someone who wants to grow your YouTube channel and you want to learn from people who are doing just that, you have come to the right place. So, today we're going to be talking to David from Loving Tech Life, who's just had his YouTube channel accepted into the YouTube Partner Program after only a year on YouTube, which is pretty bloody incredible. And he's also done that, and as you can see, a pretty competitive niche, the tech and gaming niche. So, today he's going to share with us what he did and what he's doing. So get out your notepads, folks. I'm sure there's going to be some ideas that you are probably going to want to steal from him. So whether you're joining us live or you're catching the replay, thank you so much for being here. And please join me in the chat in congratulating and welcoming David. Thank you so much for being here today, David, and congratulations on getting your channel monetized. It's so totally incredible.
Thank you very much, Claire. What a lovely intro. And yeah, thanks for having me on the show today.
Oh, it's such a delight. It's so fun, and it's amazing chatting to people, getting to chat to people from all different walks of life and ages and stages of their YouTube journey. But to have someone who is very much an active part of the growing YouTube community here and over on Facebook, it's just so cool and exciting to see how your channel has just totally is taken off and is doing so well. So I'm so excited to chat today. What a bloody treat.
It is exciting. It is exciting. And yeah, a nice little celebration. It in about 3 days. It's my channel is about a year old. So nice
Yeah.
little birthday party, I guess.
Yeah, it's so good. We've got a lot of people congratulating you in the chat, and it's awesome. I said earlier, it's a celebration, because we got a bit of a celebrate good times. Come on, yeah,
Love it.
that's awesome. So bloody good. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in and for being here today. As always, I've got a bunch of questions that I'm going to ask David, but if you have any questions, make sure you pop them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer anything that comes up. And also for folks who are watching the replay, if you have any questions, David, I'm going to make David lurk in the comments there. So if you have any questions for him,
I'll
you
keep
probably
an
get an
eye. I'll keep
answer
an eye.
there as well. Awesome. So for people who are just coming across you and your channel now, today, in this very moment, awesome. That's so good for them. But could you let people know what is Loving Tech Life all about?
Yeah, so yeah, as I say in many of my videos, it's just me sharing my love of tech and gaming with tips, tutorials, and reviews. So typically, I cover consumer tech and gaming tech, and a little bit about games. So it's more about the tech than it is about playing games as such. I don't do any let's plays or talk about any specific games in there. I don't plan on doing that. But at this stage, yeah, I talk a lot about, as you can see there, bits and pieces of my tech, my desk setup, my
This is wild.
my living room setup that I have, and a lot of times if I have had a challenge myself of trying to get something to work, I'll share a bit about that as well at the same time. But yeah, I feel like I have only just barely started making videos. I have a list of videos so long that I haven't got around to making yet. So we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. The idea of when stuff's just a problem for you, make a video about it. Because
Yes.
presumably it's also a problem for other people.
Yeah.
That's so good. So what was it that made you even decide to start a YouTube channel in the first place?
Yeah. So I mean, being interested in tech in general, I've always kind of been interested in maybe having a YouTube channel, but never kind of thought seriously about it. And it wasn't till, and I guess I didn't really know what I would do. And you kind of look at YouTube and you feel like, oh, everything's already been done before. Maybe it's really crowded. But I saw a video at one stage and I was like, oh, something passive income, like 10 different ways of doing it. And the guy was a YouTuber and he said, and I do these videos as well as, these 10 other things. And I'm like, something clicked, and I was like, I'll just I'll look more seriously at it, if really. And at that point, I didn't even know specifically what I would have a channel about, but I knew that I just wanted to learn more. And I fell down this rabbit hole, and I'm still going very deep into that rabbit hole of learning about YouTube. And so I actually just started by, when I took it more seriously, I took a course, or I paid for a course so that I could accelerate that learning. And I've learned from the course, and I've learned from anywhere and everywhere I can, podcasts and other YouTube channels and what have you. And it starts at a very narrow point, right? You start at this little tiny, a little bit, and you want to, you realize you don't know these things, so you go to learn those things, and eventually, it just keeps snowballing from there. So when it dawned on me, or when I heard, or when I learned that, you're effectively stuff that sometimes other people don't, and it only has to be you, maybe from 5 months ago, or a week ago, or 2 years ago. You don't have to be entirely brand new. If you're doing something, I don't know, about, as other people have said, underwater basket weaving or whatever it is, maybe that would be something fairly unique, but maybe a lot of people don't really aren't really interested in it. So focused at that point on what people might want to know, and what I know about. So you have a little bit of cross section there, essentially. And so I spent a few months learning. I learned from, I started in about 22. So last year, I kind of started learning about it in started March. And then by June, I had put together about 5 videos through blood, sweat, and tears, and learning. And, and I kicked off the channel in mid-June last year, when I had a few videos behind me. And it all went from there.
That's amazing. I think that's a really smart place to get started, to have essentially a month's worth of content ready to go. That's really clever.
It's
Was that you?
ideal. I would recommend anyone do that, but never underestimate still how quickly that time goes. So you might buy yourself, I don't know, like 6. My goal is always to post once a week. And that is definitely a challenge, depending on how busy you are and what you have going on in your life. And that 6 weeks went by very quickly, and I quickly realized that I needed to up my game a lot to be able to consistently post. And I still now struggle to even post once a week.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true. Sometimes I will be like, oh, cool, I've got guests lined up for the next, X amount of weeks. I'm like, cool. And then you can make the mistake of relaxing on that and going, cool, I'm fine. I'm all sorted. And then you're like, oh no, what am I doing next week? Oops.
That's
it's
it.
Yeah. What a funny thing. Oh, so nice to have everyone here. We got Tech Troublemaker here, who was a
Hey,
guest a couple of weeks ago. So awesome to have you here. So
hey,
nice to have
Roy.
you here, Elle. It's so good. How good? How good? Create a classroom. And yeah, you just have to be a step ahead of someone else. I think that's such a wonderful, wonderful point that you make. Create a classroom,
Yeah.
and you also, David. Can you, yeah, talk us through that. So you're just a massive lover of all things tech?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my hobbies are like having hobbies. So I have a lot of interests, and a lot of them bleed into each other. So, I've been, gaming since I was a kid, and on and off over the years, and I've kept that up, and interested in, modern gaming and retro gaming, as well as, kitting the house out, and, whatever I can, with nice gear. I overly research as well. I tend to research a hell of a lot, and what I find is, because I do, and I'm very selective about what I do buy. Friends of mine and whoever, will maybe ask me for a recommendation, or whatever. Oh, they need a monitor for this, or they need something for that, or they need to update their PC or something. So often I end up doing all the research because that's what I'm interested in. That's what I kind of passionate about. I ended up doing all that research anyway, and I guess that's the idea of the channel as well, is that
Mm.
um, since I already do that for people I know, family and friends, mom, anyone and
Yeah.
anyone around me, that is kind of doing a bit of that as well, but doing it publicly, I guess, is the
Yeah.
point. So yes, I am interested in that. I have lots of other interests, but you got to focus to a degree. So even I worry a little bit that, I might be too broad, but as long as I generally keep it to things that I'm interested in a tech gaming sphere, I think I'm okay for the time being. I won't be showing you how to grow, I don't know, potatoes or something anytime soon, but uh, unless there's some really cool tech that does it. But
It
yeah,
probably
so yeah,
is.
yeah, probably. Yeah, that's for the those channels. But yeah, look, like, because I'm doing it, I'm in it all the time. I'm always looking at improving my desk setup, or what we have set up for games and movies and all that type of stuff. It's just always changing, right? So
Mm.
it is an area that I do find pretty fascinating.
I have a question for you. Actually, I still have a bunch of questions for you, but I have a question for you that's just bubbled into my brain. Um, so you obviously like you've reviewed all of these things, all these different kinds of controllers and
Well, I've
all
actually
like
only just reviewed one thing so far. The rest are all like how to do stuff, mostly, actually.
oh yeah,
But
yeah. So
yeah,
you,
if you know what I mean.
all the how to do stuff, but you got all did you this is my question. Did you already have all of this stuff?
Yeah, so mostly, yeah. The only thing
Yeah.
I didn't have really was the PlayStation VR 2, because it wasn't released yet. So
Yeah.
I had pre-ordered it, and I was excited to get it anyway. And I pre-ordered it in November or something, but I was excited to kind of have something about it in the lead up to the launch. And then my idea was just to do like an box opening for that tech, but
Mm.
everyone was doing it, so I kind of did other things instead of just the box opening type stuff.
Mm.
So yes, that's a good point. I pretty much have all this stuff, and if I pick something up, I might consider it for a video. So I got a
Yeah.
teleprompter, because that's something that helped me with production, which I can talk a bit about as well. But I got that, so I'm like, I'll make a video about it. And
Yeah.
a lot of the videos I make are I try it in the style of somebody else. So I might see another style of video. So to try and make a video that's different to one I've made before, with certain types of B-roll or voiceover or camera angles, like I never had done an unboxing before. So I was keen to unbox this collector's edition stuff that I had, but I didn't know how to set up the camera and how I would do all of that. So I did it to try and learn that. And then the first time I did a tutorial video, I kind of liked how some videos had, like, they would really focus and zoom in on certain parts of the screen, rather than just showing all the screen, this massive white screen and this tiny little writing and stuff like that, and just taking it plain. So I tried to chop it up, and so I learned to try and do different videos like that. Even the one I did about games, it was all voiceover, and then chopping up trailers and doing scripting. It's just every time I do a video, it's to learn how to make that type of video. So I try and do something
Mm.
a little bit different to learn as I go as well. Um, even the first time I made a video, I was on there for a long time, just trying to say all the words. So I had all these words written down, and I had to like read them and say them and read them and say them, and I kept forgetting them. And because it was all new and exciting and different, and yeah, wasted a lot of time. And yeah, so yes, going back to what you asked, yes, I do. Pretty much everything that I talk about, I will already have or own,
Mm.
and I just can't, with the size of the channel and with the commitments I have with family and all the rest of it. I can't just spend so much money on all the newest tech like some channels will. Like
Yeah.
some channels will have, every week they'll seemingly have a new massive TV or a new another
Mm.
new console or whatever. So
Yeah.
I
And I
can't do
think this
that.
is not
Yeah.
just this is like not just big channels that can afford to as well. I think and something I would imagine a lot of newer tech channels get in trouble with is feeling like they've got to buy all the latest gear. But it's so interesting what you've done. There's like going really deeply into specific products rather than just it always being about a different thing. I think that's so clever, and it's so good for getting people watching more than one of your video as well.
Yeah, yeah. And look, there's lots of kind of learning I've had along the way where kind of that was part of how this channel started as well, is realizing that you probably have lots of stuff you can talk about. You might be talking about tech, but people still need to know about the stuff that you own. They don't need to always know about the new thing that came out, 2 days
Mm,
ago. And sometimes it's more valuable. You get a lot of reviews, I think, that, the person just used it for a week or something, and
mm,
they just put the thumbs up and say it's great, but it's probably more interesting if you've had it for a while.
yeah,
And
and
you
it
kind
gives
of
more
go, yeah,
authority as well, right? Like,
that's it.
after having this for a few years, it's
It
still
doesn't
like
it doesn't
your recent one is
it doesn't
so
stop the kind of desire to always buy new stuff. there's always
yeah.
there's always that pull to try. Oh, I just need one more of this and one more of that. So that's just the nature of being interested in this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And even just making YouTube videos and stuff, you have to be very mindful of that. But we don't have infinite resources, so we can't just buy everything we want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, the Creator Classrooms just said it's not necessary to buy stuff. Use what you have. That's so true. And Mike, thank you so much for being here, Mike. Oh, it's so awesome to have you here. Mike also has a tech channel. Sobering reminder, I have an older camera that I could still make content around. Yeah, it's it's so it's that. It's that. How cool. Oh, I love this. This is so oh, that is so bloody lovely. I've just said the tech troublemaker just said, "Just ordered my bloody legend shirt." Um, on that, I've also got one of them. I've got the bloody legend in pink and the bloody
You should
legend in mug.
have a sip. Have a sip of your
Oh, mm, mm.
demonstrate. Yeah.
This is how it's used, and it makes me feel like it just reminds me every sip I take that I'm a bloody legend, and so are you. So get yourself some bloody legend merch and, support this little channel in that way if you can, and if you want to, up to you. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. All right, so on with the program. We had an awesome question come through just now from Nobu. I've got it starred. Where is it? There we go. What have you been doing to learn all of the editing styles?
Uh, the short answer is you learn by doing. So you just give it a go. So I saw a video, for example, about uh, and I made one on my minimalist gaming setup is what I called it, and it was one of my more first successful videos. But I saw other people doing that, and I was like, okay, that's something I could do. So often the videos I make are just, I just think about, what can I do? What can I make? Am I able to make that? Do I have what I need? Am I physically able to set it up so I can make it? So it was in that case, it was just, all I got to do is just do a bit more B-roll and then chop it all together and just put voiceover to it mostly. Or in the case of those tutorial style videos, it was just learning how to maybe put arrows on the screen
Mm,
There's little graphical arrows, like, because I never done that before either before I did it. And when I did it the first time, I couldn't change the color, so I couldn't really see the yellow arrows on the white. And I've since learned how to change the color, but you just kind of learn as you go, and then at least you can make that video for next time, and you can maybe do it a
mm,
little bit better as well. So often, yeah, I'll do my best to watch videos. You look at them in a different light when you look at them on YouTube now. You kind of go, you kind of see the building blocks of them a little bit. So you just kind of take what works and try and
mm.
apply that. And a lot of it is just learning as you go and learning by doing.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And it's I find it also sometimes when you're like being aware of what you can't do, like being aware of your limitations. Like you're saying, like, is this something that I can actually set up? Because there's sometimes that I'm like trying to do something in a video that I'm editing, and it's like, oh, I should not have just spent an hour trying to work out how to make that like one transition or that one graphic do that one thing. It's so like, yeah, sometimes you just have to go, okay, I can't do that and it's taking too much time and move on.
There is
But
a bit of
yeah,
that. There's a bit of like, done, done is better than perfect, that kind
yeah.
of attitude. But I do love editing, like, as well, because you can kind of
Mm,
add a little bit of fun and flavor to the video. But you can spend a bit too long on certain things. Like early on, I used to spend way too long picking songs each video as
yeah.
well, or background music, or trying to find the right b-roll or whatever, or realizing that you need to film that b-roll again. Sometimes you just have to move on at a
Mm,
certain point. Try not to get too caught up, because it's quite time consuming to
yeah,
do
the
that
music
part of
thing
the
is
process, the production, the editing part.
yeah. What do you do for music, by the way?
I use Epidemic Sound. So quite
Yep.
early on, I'd committed to using a couple of services and paying for them, because I saw benefit in doing that sort of over the long term. And rather than worrying about free music, sure, YouTube has it. That's pretty safe, I think. But there are a lot of YouTube videos and channels, or they claim free music. But then if something changes in their terms and that artist then brings that song into a paid service, there are times where people have been caught out and had a copyright claim. So I'd rather play it safe. There's a few out there, Artlist and Epidemic Sounds and a few others, but I came across Epidemic Sounds quite often. And then
Mm,
for B-roll, I'm subscribed to Storyblocks, but it's a cheaper version of Storyblocks because my editing app has it built into it, on because I edit on the iPad. It's a bit cheaper than paying for it separately, but it's restricted to just using it within that editing app. But it's handy because I
mm,
can search for those videos while I'm in the editing app, and then chuck them in to the editing the video
that's
from
cool.
that point.
What editing app are you using?
Luma Fusion. So I chose that because a couple of reasons. Because it's a once-off purchase. I think it's a bit like Final Cut apparently, but it's like $50 for that, and it's really, really capable. And at the time when I decided, okay, I'm going to be editing some videos, I didn't want to spend huge amounts of money on trying to upgrade my PC or my gaming PC for video. And I thought if I could get I updated my iPad instead, and it just handles the video really, really well, for what they
Mm,
are, iPads. And so I'll use that um with either a keyboard and mouse sometimes, or like a pencil. But the idea being, I didn't have to be stuck in front of a desk or a computer because I have a family. I could be hanging out with them in the living room, or be somewhere else in the house, without being cut off from everyone else. And I could be
mm.
doing it while I've done editing while I've been on a plane traveling. And there's if you're on a long trip, that you can really get stuck into
You
editing on a
can.
plane and stuff like that.
It's
um
very good, and it really helps with, I get really, really anxious about flying, and It's been such a magnificent discovery learning that to edit while I'm feeling that way. It just, like, takes everything away. You get, like, really in the zone. I love editing. It's so much fun. Like
Yeah, I was doing it on a plane once, and this guy 2 seats over, um, I didn't realize he was kind of watching me, but I was there for like, I don't know, like 2 to 3 hours solid just
yeah.
editing. And I was like getting really into it. And when we were getting off the plane, he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he had like a million questions because I was doing all this editing. Because yeah, obviously very industrious. Wasn't doing any work related stuff. I was doing all my editing on the plane.
Yeah, that's awesome. So good. And so you have a family, you have a job. How do you find the time to get all these videos done?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So it's been something I've had to change how I do it over time. And, some of that is just improving my workflow. So, something simple in the beginning. If you haven't done a lot of video editing, you might, this might help you. But my first video, I recorded quite a lot of footage. Then I went through that footage from the beginning to the end. And so it took as long or longer to go through the footage and edit it than it did to watch it, obviously. And like after doing that, I'm like, there must be a better way. So if you do it backwards, it's better because you always get to the best bits that you've done correctly first. So if that makes
Yeah.
sense, you go from the beginning, from the end to the beginning, and it takes far less time. But little things like that, and so eventually, towards the end of the year, I picked up a teleprompter because I found just recording was taking me too long because I have all the information in my head when I write it down, but then when I go to sit down in front of like a camera, my mind's somewhere else or whatever. It's hard to focus and I don't remember what it is I need to say. So I got a teleprompter for that reason. So that saves
Mm.
time while I have little slices of time to do it because up from June till January, roughly, the schedule effectively was that every 2 weeks, I would have a window during the weekend of I don't know how long, maybe a couple of hours, 2 to 3 hours, and that I'd have to do all my recording during that time. And so if anything messed up or whatever, I'd have to wait another 2 weeks again. So so one thing I would do is try and batch record. So I would try and prepare minimum 2 to 3 videos if I could. So I would batch record to save time. But still in the first 6 months, it was still a challenge. So I would do maybe editing in the evening or create a thumbnail or whatever in the evening and do this recording on the weekends. So I still found it very difficult to meet like one a week. And then time would go by sometimes where 2 weeks would go by. And because I'm busy in the evenings and that, regardless, I wouldn't get anything done.
Mm, mm.
So in January this year, I had a bit of I don't know, a change of plan. Effectively, I had an idea where I would do two things. Firstly, I would record a number of smaller videos. And this is, I think, at one stage you reviewed my channel once a little while ago. And because I hadn't made anything, I hadn't made anything because I was doing a renovation of this garage that I'm in at the moment. But and I'll do a video on that another time. That's take me a long time to do that, so I haven't got around to it yet. But
Sorry, are you currently in a studio that you built?
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought, okay,
So
we'll go
yeah, well, I can get.
we can talk about that down the track. That's so
So
good.
that's part of the problem. So part of the problem was the reason I would only do it on the weekend and so on is because I would do it in the bedroom in the house, and I'd wait for everyone to leave because I have a dog and my daughter and everything. They'd make noise, and I didn't want all the noise in the background of the video, so I'd wait for them to leave. So there's only so many times that everyone's out of the house, so that was a challenge. So another thing that I did towards the end of the year is I had been planning on doing for a long time anyway was having an office in the garage. We converted the garage for that, and it's also a studio as well, so it's away from the noise and I can record more freely, I guess you could say. But then just doing that knocked a month and a half out of my life because I was very hands-on with it, and I couldn't record and make videos, so that delayed me as well. But when I got to around that January sort of time frame, I think and this is something I recommend, if you are making videos, get together with some people and chat about it. If you're talking about YouTube, there's not a lot of people in your life maybe that care, but
Mm.
if there's other people in making videos as well, then you can kind of bounce ideas. So I think we had a meeting or a get together um, towards the end of the year or the start of this year, and I kind of, what was my plan? My plan was to make a bunch of shorter videos for one, because I was kind of slightly inspired by your comment that I hadn't put out a lot of videos since that really popular video that I had, or my most popular one at the time, which at the time was 2,500 views, was the most I had on my channel of any one video. And make some shorter videos just to get the ball rolling, get the momentum again. And my idea was to also buy myself time for longer videos. So if I made a batch of shorter videos, then while those are lined up on YouTube, I could then spend a bit more time on a script or spend a bit more time recording or researching for some longer ones. And
Mm.
so, yeah, I ended up making about, I don't know, 6 to 8 videos that were kind of similar but different, but just quick to make, and that got me ahead. Felt I had some breathing room. The other key thing that
Yeah.
I did is I committed to myself that most days, not every day, I would get up about 2 hours earlier than I would normally. And while everyone's
Ooh.
asleep, I would then come, and I had effectively an office or a studio to go to. I wasn't going to keep anyone awake or wake anyone up because the noise doesn't travel the way I set it up. So I would have time, and the time would be spent on like maybe scripting during that time, or researching or preparing, and then I'd be ready for when I could record videos.
Wow.
So over
That is
time,
dedication.
well, what I was finding was I just wasn't allocating the time, and I
Yeah.
just couldn't do it, and the time was getting swallowed up with everything else in that's happening with my life, with
Mm.
full-time job and with the family in the evenings, and all that's you need to do. That I just was there's too many distractions. So at least if I committed to doing a couple of hours every day, when I could. So maybe
Mhm.
5 days out of 7, I might do that. And that helps me, kind of keep up with that production process, because some weeks
Wow.
I end up having all this video that I can edit in the morning, but other times I'm like starting from scratch. I don't have anything ready. I need to script something up or research what kind of videos to make and that sort of thing.
That's so good. So what time are you waking up in the mornings?
Ungodly hours. So five in the morning.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's not too bad.
sometimes once or twice I have been awake at 4, so I'm like, I'll just get up. I'm just getting
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Do
I'm
you
gonna no
find
point
that
in
your
going to sleep again.
brain just wakes you up with, like, ideas and you're like, "Ah, there's no point even sleeping. I might as well get up and make this video because I'm making it in my brain anyway and I can't sleep."
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's it's a little bit like that. It's a bit, well, once you start getting up early, your body starts just going, yeah, it's time to wake up, and you're looking at the, oh, it is. It's 5 o'clock.
yeah,
My alarm didn't even go off or whatever. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's
around that
so good.
time.
I find my brain is way better at doing the, like, real thinky stuff first thing in the morning. But the alarm, does the alarm not bother your sleeping
Uh,
companion?
so this is where technology is really awesome. So about 4 years ago, because my alarm for other reasons used to be annoying, my wife, because well, it was a little bit, I don't know, I was talking about it, and my wife was also sold on the fact that she bought me for my birthday an Apple Watch.
Oh, yeah.
And it vibrates, so it wakes you up without waking anyone else up. So there's no
Oh,
noise.
that's fantastic.
So
Okay.
something very small, but yeah, it's been really helpful. Just having that. So yeah, you can. I usually have to set about 2 or 3 alarms at least at that time in the morning. While I'm getting used to it, but yeah,
Yeah,
no
that's a
noise.
really
How
good
good is that?
idea. Oh, that's so good. I wanna do that. I want one of those. Maybe if I start setting, my alarm for 5 AM every day, then maybe Nina will buy me an Apple Watch.
Yes,
Yeah,
that sounds like a
that's
plan.
that's so good. Oh my goodness. It was so awesome to see. I asked people at the start to, share something. We're celebrating you're hitting the YouTube partner program, which is so incredible. But ask folks in the chat to share what their wins have been, and so awesome that Snazzy Laughs win this week is uploading her first long form video this afternoon, and it's so good. It's so good. Make more videos. Make more videos. That's awesome. I love to see that. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, I don't know if I have missed them because there's been a lot of chatter happening in the chat, which is always so bloody beautiful to see. But yeah, make sure you pop any questions that you have. I would love to know. So you're making your YouTube videos, you're doing one a week, you're doing all the things, learning, growing, changing, developing, evolving. What was it? Like, at what point did you start to see more significant growth on your channel?
Yeah, it's funny when I started making more videos. So, funny thing about
Yeah.
YouTube, you need to make videos for it to
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah.
So what I had spent so from June to January was about 6 months. I had maybe just before Christmas, I had maybe between 150 and 200 subscribers at that point. There was a couple of videos I put out just before Christmas about the teleprompter and maybe the desk setup. I'll do a couple like that. That was after I'd set up this office, and it wasn't, and it was nice to see some growth just from adding those two videos. But it wasn't until I committed, like I said, to getting up early, and so I could make more videos more consistently, that I really started to see more growth. So I was quite happy at the beginning of the year that it got to 200 subscribers. I was pretty wrapped with that. If anyone, I set some goals when I first started of maybe getting to 1,000 within a year, but by midway through that, thank you. By midway through that, I was looking at, I'd be happy if I think I'll get there by the end of 2023 because I'm on about 200 now. At the pace I'm going, I'll get there. And because I bought myself that time and I was able to I made more smaller videos. I then was able to make longer videos. I had the time to do that. So I started, there was some videos that I made based on more of a trend type video. So I knew the PSVR 2 was coming out. So I kind of stopped what I was doing with other videos and finished making the videos I wanted to make for that. So I made a handful on the PSVR 2 because that was something I was really interested in the lead up
Mm.
to getting the PSVR 2 as well. And I did one where, it was just it was old news, but I wanted to kind of have it on my channel where it was like, this is what it is. And then because I kind of told YouTube, right, that I talk about this stuff, I feel like the next videos about that same subject kind of caught more traction as well. And so once I had released the first PSVR 2 videos, like a versus the old PSVR 1, that went crazy. That went absolutely nuts. I ended up having more views on that than I had ever had on any video, and so quickly went to like 20,000 views
So
within
this one
24
here?
hours or something like that. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna move around because yeah, that one. So now
Yeah.
it's on like maybe, I don't know how many it's on now, 30. But at the time, it just was an incredible sort of burst for the channel, and I'd already started making the next one, which was the games that were free for the PSVR 1 to upgrade to
Mm.
PSVR 2, and then that did even better. And so between those two videos alone, within 2 weeks, I had, they had like maybe 50,000 views between them. And I went up by, instead of being on 200 subscribers, I was on like 700 subscribers, by that
Yeah.
stage.
Amazing. I remember that.
Um,
That was a beautiful
and,
moment.
and in the meantime, one of my smaller videos, so I did a bunch of like how to connect all the controllers I had, different ones, to PC and iPhone. And there was, one particular video where I made a how to connect a PlayStation controller. You're on their PlayStation 5 controller to a PC. But the one on the right hand side there, three over, so it has maybe 600 views. I noticed that all the search terms for a connected PS5 controller to PC, all the search terms were for DS4 Windows, because I mentioned, you could also use DS4 Windows, but this is not in this video. So I said, okay, I might as well make that video as well. And I tried, and I couldn't actually make the video because I couldn't get it to work. And I'm like, oh, well, there's that video. I'll just give up on that one. I'll move on. And about a week later, I came back to it, and I searched a few more times on how to do it, and found the answer. And so I finished the video. I'd pretty much finished it. I edited it and everything, or whatever. I'd recorded it, and I finished the video and I put it up. So it did what I thought it would do. Like, for the first 2 weeks, it was fairly just trickling along, not pretty much doing all the same thing as those other videos. But it's just started continuing to get views, more and more and more views, and the click-through rate was like getting higher and higher. So instead of it having this like peak and then dropping off, it just kept going. It just kept going up and up and up. And the click-through rate went from, like, I don't know, 5% to 10% to 15%. It just kept going up. I was like, that's
Wow.
not, what's wrong with what's going on? So it's obviously a problem that a lot of people are having, and to try and get it to work. And even now, it's just, and so what I guess my point is that within about a month of that video releasing, it had overtaken the other two that had really reached 25K or 30K or whatever they reached. It had overtaken them within
Mm.
about a month. So even though I'd released it like almost a month before those videos, and it was trickling along, now that video is by far the most viewed video on my channel at this
Yeah.
point in time.
And it's getting
And
like 50, it just said on the it says on there that it's getting 51 views per hour.
yeah,
It's
I could
so good. So
um,
good. Nobu
so
says, are the views from the DS4 video mostly browse or search? That's a very interesting question.
mostly search on the DS4 Windows, I would say.
Yeah, right.
Because it's such a highly viewed video, there are plenty of browse as well. But maybe to put into perspective, like 100 views every 48 hours on browse, as opposed to, like, I don't know, like a couple of thousand views on search. But 100
So
views
good.
on browse per 48 hours is still good compared to some of the other videos. Like, many of the other videos is quite good, but vast majority is search on that particular video. Whereas
Mm.
the PSVR 2 was all browse, all suggested at the
Yeah,
time, and it was
wow.
much more of a peak, a burst of views, and it came back down then within whatever, a couple of weeks or whatever. They had significantly dropped. It still gets views. They still get views, but they're lower than they were initially. They're not going crazy. So yes, once I'd gone through that exercise, so the first 3 months of 2023 were, for a lot of growth happening. And
Mm.
and then again, I ended up having about another month and a half where I couldn't make videos, for one reason or another. And the momentum slowed. The momentum slowed down. My momentum for trying to work on it slowed, because I wasn't able to get up for a period of time. I wasn't able to get up early anymore, so I wasn't able to spend time on it. And it was only just recently, in the last month or so, that I was able to get back into the kind of habit of and momentum of making videos. So it kind of slowed at that 700 to 800 from all those videos I just mentioned. It got to a certain point, but it wasn't until I had released my more recent videos that it kind of tipped over the line to 1,000. But
Mm.
yeah, but because I have all these other videos made, it's kind of made the I guess the views overall busier. So they have a bit of a momentum across the board, and some of these videos kind of make the other videos busier, because when I see it, when that there are certain times of the week, and it's almost a 24-hour cycle, where it peaks in maybe America and it goes back down in the morning, and it peaks in America and goes back down. When I see those peaks, the other videos also peak as well at the same time. So if other videos are doing well, it does start to flow down to
Yeah.
some of the others.
It
A
is
bit over.
amazing how like one video can bring the others with it. And I just started the mine and Nina's other channel, the McSaras, has only got 3 videos in it, but our most recent one is doing like quite well. And it's amazing seeing the other 2 be lifted up with it. It's like it's so cool how that can happen. Nobu has asked, so are we going to make a part 2, 3, and 4 of the DS4 vid?
Well,
I guess, like, what flows on from that? Because the yeah, how would you envision making a part 2, 3, and 4 of the
yeah, you
DS4
could.
video?
I've seen other channels. Them almost do that sort of thing annually, like something
Yeah.
like that. They'll redo the video again for that year because something may have changed and something may have broken or
Mm.
changed in the software. So absolutely, you can do that. Um, my general attitude to making videos is try and make things that are evergreen anyway. So things that
Yeah.
would be relevant. Most videos, not all, but most videos would be relevant potentially 6 months from now, a year from now, maybe 2 years from now. So I have plenty more videos that I want to do like that. So
Mm.
even my most recent video of a review of something that I've had for over 2 years, that has the potential for being a DS4 Windows style a video where it won't necessarily have a massive viewership in the first 24, 48 hours, but over time it could, and might build momentum because I find that as YouTube shows it to people, it gets more information about who it should show it to again and
Yeah.
again and again. So you might find that certain videos just have legs and just keep getting out there in front of people because more people are watching it, which increases the click-through rate, which
Mm.
increases impressions. Some videos don't. Some videos just kind of flatline and they just do what they do. But um I have a lot. Yeah, I just have so many. There's only so much time in the day, and I have a lot of videos that I want to potentially make. It's just about prioritizing different ones. Like I wanted to
Mm.
do a video on. It was in November that I worked on this studio for a month, and since then I'm like, oh, I've recorded footage and all that of the process. I just because it will take me maybe 2 to 3 weeks to put all of that together. I've been reluctant to do the video. I've made smaller videos to buy time to do this video. I still haven't got
Mm.
around to it because I
Yeah.
prioritize some other videos like the PSVR 2 or some of the Sonos stuff that I've been wanting to do. So I'll get around to them. I have a lot of videos that I plan to do. There'll be more DS4 Windows ones. I don't have to just focus on just that one thing.
Mm. It's awesome. So that video that is still getting 51 views an hour. Where is it? There we go. So this video here was made 4 months ago. How long after releasing it did it start getting heaps of views per hour?
Yeah, so it was at least 2 weeks minimum
Mm.
before it actually got before it looked like it was even doing anything.
Mm.
And even at that point, it was like a slow, gradual thing at the beginning. So a month later, even it was kind of like um, it was just still getting views, and it was pretty steady. But it took maybe even 2 months before it was just like, I can't believe how
Yeah.
many views. So at one point, I think just thinking back, it had reached up to like a 900 views every 48 hours, and then I'd go back a couple of weeks later. Now I look at it almost like that's one thing you get in the habit of, a bad habit of, is looking at the creator or studio too much. But looking at it every so often, 2 weeks later, it was maybe up to 1,200 every 48 hours. And now it sometimes is at around, what was it this weekend? Maybe 3,000 every 48 hours at its peak. So
Mm.
it does ebb and flow throughout the week. So it might dip down now to 2,200 and then go back up. But I think as well, because I'm releasing other videos more recently, sometimes that even brings more sort of traffic to the channel or to that video. So yeah, I mean, it just that's a bit unusual. I mean, for some of these videos to do that effectively, but it did take at least 2 weeks. I can't remember how long it was, but I remember it not doing a whole lot. I had some confidence that people were going to search for that term because that other video, that's all they were searching for. Like everything,
Mm,
like there was a list of 5 search terms, and it was all DS for Windows this, DS for Windows that, and I only just mentioned it in that video. So I was like, okay, well,
yeah.
there's some search, there's someone out there searching for
There's
it.
some
So
search and
yeah.
you're getting shown for it as well, like, YouTube is showing these people your stuff. I think that's such a brilliant little nugget of wisdom to pay attention to the search terms, to pay attention
Yeah.
to the stuff that people are searching that's landing them on your channel. Like, it's just like,
And that's
of
and that's
course,
what's kind of fed into the Sonos
clever.
stuff that I'm doing now, is because on the minimalist gaming setup, some of the top search terms were around Sonos stuff as well.
Mm,
So it's taken me a few months, but I've kind of gone back around and done some review videos. I did some like how-to videos already on that, but it was, yeah. So I do try and pay attention, not just to external analytics, but look at your own and see what search terms are getting landing on your videos that you already have put out there, and
yeah.
not to be kind of afraid to experiment, because I did like 8 videos, and out of those 8, 2 of them are doing quite well. So one is the video DS for Windows, and another one is me connecting a PS4 controller. I don't know
Mm,
why, but I've done other ones where I've done different other controllers, but somehow those 2 videos, I mean, the PS4 controller one's like the baby brother of the DS4
yeah.
Windows. It's like it's still getting probably the second most views on my channel, but it's nowhere near
Mm.
the scale, but it's chugging along. But I
Oh,
did 8 videos,
brilliant.
short videos, to get to that point. It was just, because it was an experiment, you don't know what will do well and what you can learn from making those.
Mm. Oh, it's very inspiring. I'm feeling very inspired. Are people feeling very inspired? I also have coffee and green tea cranking through my sis right now. So yeah, it's a good combination, this conversation and all of the caffeine. It's so good. Yeah, wow. It's it's so brilliant. So this video is about how your channel got monetized in under a year and all of the things that you have kind of done to get there. But I'd really love to know, um, have there been any other ways that you have been able to monetize your channel apart from the YouTube partner program?
Yeah, so very early on, when you learn about YouTube, you learn about, how some people get fixated on getting to 1,000, because that's when you start making money, right? That's when you start getting some trickle of ad revenue from YouTube. But the more I learned about YouTube and the whole creator process, I guess, our journey, is that there are probably 50 different ways that you can have an income by doing this. And so I kind of focused on the ones that were most relevant for my style of channel, and that first and foremost was affiliate links. So I would say that I've been dabbling in it. So I've just been, from the moment I started, um, before I released my first video, I applied for the Nord affiliate program, because I'm like, I have Nord. I've used it for years. I'll get that one. And then the next video I watched was from someone saying, now don't apply to any affiliate programs until you've released, until you have a certain following. I was like, too late. So I applied for a couple of others and was knocked back, but Nord, I was accepted for Nord. So that was one of the first videos that I actually made. I'm like, because I know about Nord, I'll do this video. And so I've done that a few times. I've looked out there for what relevant affiliate programs there are. So an obvious one being the Amazon affiliate program. I held off for so long because I thought I needed a minimum of 500 followers. And someone in a group mentioned not long ago at the beginning of the year that they were approved for having quite a small number of followers. So here's a tip out there: if you are an Amazon Prime or Amazon customer, maybe just apply for the affiliate program. Don't feel like you can't unless you have a minimum number of followers. So they approved me early on when I had 200 subscribers, and so I started putting links to the Amazon stuff on other videos that I had, older videos that I had. I must say that I think you need to be doing review videos for it to be really focused on that affiliate stuff. And I've only just done my first review video recently, but you do get traffic. People do look in the description and click on all the stuff that you showed them in the video. So you will get some traffic. And so
Mm.
I've made a little bit, of money here and there. So over the first few months, it was like $20 so far, so you'll get a trickle coming in here and there. So not a lot, but it's a good proof of concept for me to kind of understand,
Mm.
okay, how this works, what works, what doesn't work, how to put links in, how to get the links, it's just a learning exercise for me. It's not about making the money, really. It's just to figure out how all these things work, how affiliate
Yeah.
programs work. Takes time to apply to different affiliate programs. Some things are in affiliate programs, some things are not. So yeah, affiliate really is just different types of affiliate programs that I've applied for and just put links in the description. So technically, I already earned like my first dollars, even with Nord, some of the Nord stuff early on, like before I even had 100 subscribers. So
Yeah.
it is a thing that you can focus on better. Like I could have done better with affiliate if that was my goal, to do just review after review after review. But it was more just to learn how it works, so that later on, when I had a bigger channel and more growth, then I knew what to do, and how to set that up.
Yeah.
Um, but it is once you, and then at least until you get to that 1,000 subscriber milestone and have something from YouTube, it's just about having as many kind of streams of income as you can. There are others, like there's plenty of others around. I don't know how I would do it yet, but you can, have a course, or you can have merchandise, which I potentially, yeah, had an idea of doing because of your video. Highly recommend you check out Claire's video on that really cool service, whatever it's called. Stripe something. What is it?
What
The
is it
one where
called?
you made
Spreadshirt. Yeah.
Spreadshirt. Yeah, and that links in
I'll
with
link to
YouTube.
that.
Once
Yeah.
you get to 1,000, you can put it in there in the videos. I haven't done any of that. I don't know exactly what merch I would make, but I'd be keen to do a bit of that or dabble in that. There's plenty more. Like there's things like Patreon and supers. Now I've just learned literally properly what supers are. While you're in live like this, you can have super thanks and super chat. So people can donate money while you're in live. But what I didn't realize is that super thanks go onto any video. Super thanks is not a live related thing. Super thanks just is a button
Yeah.
on the bottom of videos. It didn't dawn on me what it was properly, because I've seen it heaps of time. I just didn't pay attention to it because it wasn't relevant for me. Um, but that can go on the bottom of videos too, once you get to 1,000.
Mm.
But uh, I guess there's probably a lot more I can't think of off the top of my head. But I did focus on affiliate stuff because a tech channel probably more relevant than some of the other income methods. If you look it up, there's about 50 or more that you can focus on. So you don't have to just be focused on 1,000. 1,000 is an
Yep.
awesome milestone. Really, like, good to reach it. And it kind of, some other milestones like getting the community tab of 500 have been removed. You can get that a lot earlier. So 500
Yeah.
was going to be a goal.
I think it
Um,
was removed just after I got to 500. So I was like, "Whoa!" And then it was like, "Oh, you don't need that
Everyone's got
anymore."
that.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
no, I know.
"Oh."
My main worry was that someone else would have taken my name or whatever, because you can
Oh,
have an
yeah,
app, whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, there's still to this day there you have to reach 1,000 if you want to be monetized. So there's
That will
no
be the
getting
case
around that.
just until I am in the like, once I get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, then it will probably be about the week after that they will remove that as a requirement.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. With those two videos, I forgot to mention, those two videos alone, I reached 4,000 watch hours, with just those two. I had maybe 1,000 before that with all the other videos, and then just in 2 weeks, those two videos got me to 4,000. So by the time
Yeah.
I got to 1,000 subs, I was on like 10,000 watch hours between that and that DS4 Windows video. That now on its own is close to 4,000 just on its own. So yes, it can just
Mm.
take one or two videos to, especially
Totally.
in the early days, right? And especially when you're looking
Yeah.
at every watch hour, every subscriber, every view, and trying to struggle to get there. It's just, I focused mainly on the output. How many
Mm.
videos can I put out there? not so much about how many subscribers I have or how many views. I'd pay attention to those, but I'm like, okay, I'm working on, okay, how many videos can I get out this month or over the next few months? How can I do
Yeah.
that? Um,
It sounds like
and
it's been
yeah.
an incredibly, like, creative process for you as well, like, learning how to do all this stuff, like the problem solving and the, like, I love the how it sounds like that brings you a lot of joy and satisfaction as it does me, like, I love that. David, we've just gone over an hour,
Ah,
and
yes.
I know you have to go to work.
One thing I will
Um,
mention that we haven't touched on at all, my favorite thing about the whole process, actually, we get focused on all the metrics and stuff. It has been the community aspect by far, because it wasn't until I had the
mm,
videos for the PSVR 2 where I had so many comments and so many that so much conversation started and so much interaction and comments and sort of that community sort of vibe. So I mean, that was my favorite part about all of that. I wasn't getting a 30,000 views. It was actually that whole interaction with um,
yeah.
people that were enjoying that content or whatever the case was, or had ideas or different opinions or whatever. That was by far the most fun part of it. That's actually what really excited me. So that's kind of what it wasn't until I had that experience that it kind of dawned on me that that's what kind of drives me the most, almost, is that sort of community aspect and that sort of interaction with the people on the other side, because you are making these videos for people and views are all numbers and subscribers are all numbers, but it's not until you get to interact and talk with them that it really has a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just it's so it adds just such a beautiful element to it. And before that community, like, it can feel lonely and, yeah, the coming together of people and everyone enjoying, like, geeking out about certain things, like about YouTube over here and about tech over on your channel, like, it's so it it's very enriching. I find it very enriching. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Well, I cannot believe how quickly that hour flew by. I feel like we could, and sometimes we do, chat for, okay. I know you've
Yeah,
gotta
that's
get to
one thing
work,
I've never been
but
I've never been accused of as not having enough to say. I have to be told to shut up sometimes, but anyway.
no, you would never be told to shut up here, but I mean, I am just yeah, I'm so, so grateful to you for coming and sharing and having your celebration of 1,000 subscribers on here on my channel. It's been awesome. Thank you everyone who's watching at home, watching the replay. I'm just always so grateful to have you all there and to have people to geek out with. It's so awesome. It's amazing hearing about you and getting to your first 1,000 subscribers. If anyone missed it, last week I spoke to Dr. Andrea Furlan, who is at 550,000 subscribers now. So it's like really cool seeing the two kind of vastly different, uh, you know, parts of the YouTube journey. So if you didn't watch that, go back and have a watch now. I'm going to link that here at the end. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone. And thank you, especially to you, David. You are an absolute bloody legend. Buy
Thank
my
you,
merch.
Claire. Appreciate it. Hey. Love
Okay.
it.
See you, folks. Oh, end broadcast. Lol.